Are you looking for the unique sorcerer chest? Kill spiders. Or is it that one unique dagger you need? Cultist is what you want to kill. Yes, you can target farm uniques, and there's two things that are very important to know about this. First, one of the developers, Joseph, said, items that drop in nightmare dungeons have a higher chance of being sacred or ancestral than items that drop outside of nightmare dungeons. That one kind of makes sense, and you might have experienced already. The second and most important information is that every monster family, bandits, beasts, cannibals, and so on, have a chance to drop a bonus item of a certain type. Now, let's say every monster has a chance to drop any item, but bandits, for example, have the chance to drop a bonus dagger and a mace as you kill bandits, which will allow you to target farm certain uniques. But which places are now the perfect ones to farm certain monster families? Let me shine some light on that, and also create a template in the description below with all the families, what they drop, and the respective Nightmare Dungeons open world locations that are perfect. And as you drop in the comments below where you have personally experienced a huge density of a certain family, so we can create a living document that will improve our gameplay experience. As I mentioned bandits already, let's start with them. Daggers and maces have a bonus chance to be dropped by them. And if you're not keen on farming them in a nightmare dungeon, the lower PvP area down here has an insane high density of them. And the chance for ancestral uniques might be higher in nightmare dungeons, but the item power is the same inside as outside. And as we say, there's like a lot here. These are normal ones without the elites. You have just some other elites, but you can generally farm some good XP here. Oh god, the world is still laggy, huh? As we go further down, bandits, 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 elites. You notice there's quite some to just randomly kill. So bandits can be found here. But now, if you're looking more for the nightmare dungeons and or normal dungeons, there is Morgan's Work, which has some knights, some church dudes mixed together with bandits. Yeah, I don't know what church dudes and bandits do mixed together, but that's what we got here. You know, these are the kind of bandit opponents, and then there's some of the church people in there. But yeah, Morgan's Work does work plenty well, and it's like also a very nice and streamlined one. It is right here in the middle. Zarbinzet over there, have a Zar there, and Morgan's Work in the middle. And also farm that as a non-nightmare. Again, keep in mind. And then Wallwood is extremely good for bandits as well. Now, the next one would be beasts for chests, crossbows, and swords. As you might know, if you're looking for beast, Skosglin is what you want. And here we're talking about the Elderwood. Herald's Den in the north, also really good, has beasts in there. And on top of that, spiders. I mean, who says that we can't be doing some multi-purpose farming, you know? If you got spiders, you know, they're going to be good for chests and focus lofts and two-handed swords as well. But you also mainly get bears, the trees, and all the other beasts kind of like roaming in around here. And the dungeon is generally just very easy to do as soon as you get the Feral's Den stronghold cleared in the north, and then you can do it in Skosglin. And as we're talking about spiders, chests, focus, gloves, and two-handed swords. So that can drop on top of what they otherwise can also drop. And this one is undoubtedly and unarguably the best for farming spiders, blind burrows. I mean, it's just teeming, it's just seething. There's spiders everywhere. There's the infested villagers. I mean, seriously, you can't complain. That one is just absolutely going bonkers. And you get the plague maggots on top of that. Annoying, but yeah, they're here. But it's not only this, there's also an incredible good spot in the overworld if you want to enter the PvP areas, and that one might even be better than any dungeon, especially with a very high respawn rate. We're going to the PvP area on the left, El Zuda, and here it goes all the way to the north, and as you can see, hello, more spiders, but that's not it. There's these elite packs, followed up by this elite pack, followed up by that elite pack, into this elite pack. I think there's one more in the Tibbity Tobbity. Yeah, so PvP zones are extremely good for this. I mean, seriously. And they do give a good amount of XP, and they're super easy to kill. I mean, you notice just how many of these spiders are around here. And you can essentially go for a whole ride around this area and then rinse and repeat as they respawn. That will not only give you actually very good experience, which brings us to Cannibals for two-handed axes. And I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, axes and helms. And as we're already in the PvP area, let's head a little bit down south, because I personally do like PvP areas for farming as long as they're not three-man teams of level 100s running around to target farm level 60 and 70s. Yeah, I know you're out there. And on the right side around here, you have some cannibals that have some more cannibal event and a ballistic event, a party. And then we got more cannibals. And all these caves here have more cannibals. Yeah, and it just continues. So same in green here. Like I'm a necromancer. I can barely break through that barricade. Just saying. But on the all around right side here, that's where you're going to be finding cannibals plus the cannibal event. Now, generally, the untamed scraps area where Champion's Demise is around here with the Temple of Rot is good. But we're also heading for the blood-soaked crag. And yes, I might not have a nightmare dungeon recommendation for all of these because for some, I just really enjoy farming the overworld more. But again, if you have that one nightmare dungeons where you feel cannibals are stacking just up boatloads, drop it in the comments below. And again, keep in mind, nightmare dungeons might drop a little bit better, but still here, blood-soaked crag is full of just these easy to kill cannibals. There is one nightmare dungeon which also has them at the beginning, but not at all in the second part. And that would be here in the middle, the Ghoulran slums. And you can actually teleport right there, so that's kind of good. And in the first part, have some beasts and a lot of cannibals going on together. The second part will actually be stuffed with ghosts, and ghosts would be good for bows and wands, which I guess brings us then to ghosts, which are good for bows and wands. As a nightmare dungeon, I enjoy the abandoned mine works all the way in the bottom left. The second part has a lot of ghosts there, but also in general around Kyrvashad, you know, this area here, especially when you have Tree of Favor stuff going on, you can get a lot of ghosts extremely easy. Do not underestimate in general the Tree of Favor stuff that can then spawn endless hordes of enemies, which is to another one that is extremely great, and that is down here, the Lost Archives, which work as a nightmare dungeon. And there's always an event down here that is having ghosts going on. And the good thing about the Lost Archives is it's not only good for ghosts, it's also good for Fallen. Fallen are these demon monkeys with the annoying shamans, and they can drop axes and staves for the druid. Not only is it a great dungeon to do this, first the Fallen, then the ghosts in the second part. No, it's also a very streamlined one with a big density of mobs in general. And if you just want to keep on farming these nerds, just, I guess, have the shaman resurrect people over and over again. Just look out to not get blown into smithereens. What about snakes, the Nangari? You know, these with the fangs that go, stun you. Two-handed polearms and swords. And that one is a no-brainer. All the way down the south, teleport virus, and then the Shadow Plunge. And not only is the Shadow Plunge itself good, I mean, here's a big elite pack, here's a little bit more of them. You can, before you just go into the plunge, just farm down some of these nerds here straight away. I mean, kill what you have, kill what you can get, and then essentially make your way up here while they try to eat your booty into the plunge, which works great in nightmare and non-nightmare. Then for vampires, I have a personal favorite that I like to do, and it might be a bit annoying for the one or the other, but it's the Core Dragon Barracks. And you will kill those pesky vampires for the two-handed swords, the bows, and the wands. And on the way in the overworld, there is also quite some vampiric opponents with their ghouls right next to it, just waiting for you. And yes, here, on the way in, just get some of them, and then straight up head into the Core Dragon Barracks, which also has, obviously, a nightmare version. That being said, there's a repeating ongoing event on the right side and next to the Bear Tribe Refuge, right here, that also has a lot of vampiric opponents consistently going on. For skeletons, I like to head down here into the Defiled Catacombs if I'm just looking to clap some skeleton cheeks, which you would do to get crossbows, shields, and swords. A second one, right above the Bear Tribe Refuge, teleport point next to Kyrvashad, will be the Hoarfrost Demise, which actually has the quest Destroy Skeletal Constructs. There is not only skeletons in here though, you're also going to find Goatmen, and that's kind of like perfect. Not only can you farm your skeletons here with, you know, a good density of elites and Goatmen on top of that with cheese and cream, Oh, goat cheese. Goat cheeseburger. Yeah, we had one of those recently. These goatmen are actually good for two-handed axes, two-handed staves, sorcerer, and on top of that, totems. And I guess the most popular one for goatmen is the good and old Champion's Demise, right next to Durandai, and there's also spiders in there quite a lot. And yes, Champion's Demise has a good nightmare version. Now there's two missing, Cultists and Drown. Let's start with the easier one, Cultists, for daggers and helms. I guess they're not hard to find. It's actually called Cultist Refuge. And the best part is, it's right here in the middle, Kavachan, mark it, and you can actually right there. To clear out the stronghold, there's some nice demon leaders that want to seduce you. And then to your advantage, you actually have to slay every enemy in here anyways to advance. So what could be a better farming spot than one that literally forces you to just kill every goddamn cultist in here to even get further. For Drowned, there's generally all the way up here in the north and next to the Merwin point, just a lot of Drowned hanging around that you can just nuke into oblivion. I mean, they'll be all the ways around the beaches. There's some events here that will continuously keep spawning drown. But there's also a dungeon all the way up here. Clear the stronghold and you got the flooded depth all the way to the north, which is just filled with these weird underwater monkeys. Yeah, exactly. Those bloated corpses, shambling corpses, all belonging to the drowned kind of thing. So if you found a lot of bloated corpses as well, that kind of there, it's not only the deckhands. No, it's everything that's kind of like drowned, I guess. Yeah. Again, a document in the description below with all these findings and the respective dungeons that we'll continuously keep adding to. So drop it in the comments below if you know a specific nightmare dungeon for any of these families that we can grow this together to have the perfect list for everyone. If you're looking more for the secrets of the Helltide areas or the absolute ultimate Summon a Necromancer guide, watch. Thank you.